Welcome to the dynamic learning hub of XLR at Andheri East. A prime spot conveniently located at just a 5-minute walk from LIC Andheri Metro. In our journey of over a decade, we have proudly trained over 2 lakh students. We have also been recognized by Deloitte, Silicon India, and other accreditation bodies. Experience learning like never before in our spacious and comfortable classrooms. With high-definition projectors and state-of-the-art acoustics in place, we ensure effective learning even to the farthest point in the room. The hybrid mode is a game changer as you can enjoy the benefits of a live classroom from the comfort of your home. Even if you happen to miss any classroom session, you can still attend the same session with the same trainer at the same time at your convenience, maintaining consistency in your learning progress. Wanna get started? Join us for a demo or career chat over a cup of coffee at our Andheri branch. XLR. We don't just train, we build careers.
Yes, so the collaboration with XLR was an excellent one. We conducted a Power BI workshop with Advanced Excel over a span of 3 days. The workshop was almost 12 hours long in total. Mr. Karthik, who was an amazing trainer, helped the students understand the concepts deeply. I am sure that the students will be able to apply these concepts in their careers as well as their daily lives.
The trainer, Mr. Karthik, was an excellent person where he explained in very detailed manner on how to give great insights using very complex data sets.
So it was a machine learning workshop. We learned a lot from the course and it was a great experience attending the workshop.
The trainer was very helpful. He had a hands-on approach with his teaching and it was fabulous.
This was a great experience for me. So I would absolutely love it if XLR and its team would come again to our campus and conduct more events like this.
It was a great course and it started from basics and took me to a great extent.
The experience of the workshop was really nice. The feedback from all the students was positive. They understood the concept. The workshop was also practical based with some questions. The experience with XLR was very smooth. They helped us in conducting the workshop smoothly right from the booking of the vendor and deciding the course till the distribution of certificates. In overall, this workshop was a success during our Technical Fest Atmos, and I thank XLR for being a part of it.
I was very much interested in learning digital marketing course for a very long period of time, but I don't get a proper platform. So later from our college, I get to know about XLR and I enrolled in.
Good evening, all. I hope my voice is audible.
Hi guys, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, sir. You can take over the class for
Should
that.
we start, ma'am?
Yeah, you can start it, sir.
Okay, I'll start.
Thank you.
So, has everyone done the installation, which I and Sanjay were doing yesterday? Anybody struggling with the installation can, initial 5-7 minutes I can give you all. If you are struggling, I can ask you all to share screen and we can sort that out. Else, I'll continue. So, I'll do programming for around an hour or 1 hour 15 minutes, and the last 45 minutes approx, I'll ask someone from you all to do the program which I did. So by default, has Sanjay joined? So by default, I'll pick Sanjay. Else, I'll ask a new volunteer. Anybody can volunteer. So we can have 5 volunteers for 5 days if possible. Okay. So let me continue from where we had left yesterday. Okay. Let me know once you're able to see my screen. Okay. Is my screen visible to you all? So yesterday we had ran this and see that even the timestamp is there of yesterday when we had ran this. So, post that. Okay, you're able to see my screen. Perfect. So now I'll stop the server. So whenever you are coding, try to stop the server and then do the coding. Stop the server, clear the console, whatever is this logs, these are called logs, okay? So these clear the logs, so clear the console. Yeah, perfect. This is so always do the clean slate. Okay. And we had made these packages. Only one package by default had a class and the other packages were empty. So what is the significance of these packages? Now, so yesterday I had given you all some, yeah, this was our, so diagram. So here now we need, what are we going to show to the customer? If you all are able to see what we did yesterday. So if you all, yesterday, if you, I guess we have shut down the server, so it will not reflect anything. So let me, I'll have to again start the server to show you all. So I want you all to tell me what all data will put in the class. Okay, so now I'll start this application. Was this one, I guess. This one, yeah. So let me go to Java and start this application. So by looking at the application, you should tell me what should be the attributes I should be having in the class. Always wait for this message, okay, which says started on port number so and so, and how many seconds it took to start. Once I've got this message, then how to run the application. So in the properties file, even yesterday, if you observe, I made the properties file over here. So I had given a port number 8089. So to run, so this was the port number for our application, which we are making. For this application, the port number over here, you will see over here is 8085. So all you need to do is go to the browser and just hit localhost 8085. That's all. Localhost and colon in between and 8085, and the application will be started over here. Okay. So here I'll log in with the super user. Yeah. So now if I am making my entity table, my entity class, which contains all the data. So what all attributes should I have in that class? Any guesses? See, what am I showing to the user? I'm showing the customer ID, customer name, customer first name, last name, customer email, customer phone, customer gender. So we will make a class having all these attributes. I can just copy them from here, and we can go. So what sort of class will that be? That will be my entity class. So whatever data we are showing over here, that data is your entity class. So, and my entity class will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 attributes. So I copy them over here. Then which package do I need to expand now? I need to expand my, this is already we have, right? We are into here. So we'll go to the entity package, right click, and we'll say create a new class. Create a new class. And what is the class name? The class name will be customer, because we're doing customer management system. And then I finish. And these are my attributes. So I just copy. Okay. I just copy and paste them. So customer ID, customer first name, customer last name. So customer ID. So whenever you make a class, you have to give the data type. So we'll always make it private. And customer ID, let's say I'll make integer. You don't have space. You don't have space in the. Okay. So let's take it customer ID and semicolon. Then next, customer first name. So will be a string. Okay. So I will take it as customer first name. Or directly we can say first name, because we are doing it for customer, right? So here also we can directly just say CID. Customer ID, first name. As we have first name, we will also have last name. So this also has been covered. Then we will have customer email. That also will be a string. We will call it as email. That also has been covered. And now customer gender. So we'll have either M or F. So private string. Okay, first we are looking for a phone. Okay, let's take phone also as a string, but it is long value. So we can keep that is also as a string. And then customer gender also will be as a string. So now I have created a class over here with all these attributes: customer ID, first name, last name, email, phone, and gender. Okay. Now create the, so as they are private data, to read and write this data, we will have the getter setters. Okay. So just very easy to make getter setters in Eclipse. Right click and source, and you can say generate getter setters. Select all and click on generate. Will generate all the getter setters. You do generate getter setters. Also have a constructor. So right click, source, generate constructor using fields. Okay, just click on a single click, you all can get all this data done. Okay, and when you are making a parameterized constructor, make sure you have an empty constructor also. So just copy this line and give the brackets as empty. So what I did over here was, I just copied this again. I just copied this all over again for your understanding. I removed everything from inside the round bracket, and I removed everything from inside the curly brackets also. That's all I did. So always have this constructor also. So no args constructor and all args constructor, getters and setters. Yeah, this much is sufficient for our customer class. Okay. Now this, okay, so entity is taken care of. So entity package we have, so we'll tick the box which we have covered. So this package has been done. Okay. So now whenever the request comes from the client, it will first come to the controller. So controller, so what happens is, now what is the URL for my application? Who will tell me? How did I open my application on the browser? What did I type on the browser URL to run my application? Something like local something. Who can remember? Local host and the port number. Absolutely correct. So I had it in the browser, I wrote local host. Okay. I wrote local host and the port. So what is our port number for this application? 8. And after that, whatever I give is the RESTful endpoint. So after this, if I give any string, let's say I add a string called Virat. So in my controller, I should have a mapping for this. So my controller class should have a mapping. Okay, so let's say we call it as request mapping. Should have a request mapping for this endpoint. So you should have a request mapping for /Virat. So if the user after the port number gives whatever string, then the application should be able to receive that request. So if he gives /Virat, it should go in the controller class. It will receive that request, and this method will process that request. So there should be some method which will process this request. So let's say I make a public void RCB method. Assume I'm just making a namesake dummy method, and here whatever we will return will be displayed to the client. So we will display welcome to RCB fan page. So now this is the flow you need to understand. I'll try to understand this. Okay. So first thing, so now let's try to color code this. First thing, the user will open the URL and type any endpoint. So let's say he will give /Virat. Then this request will go to the controller, because controller is the entry point, the receptionist of the application. So first you come and meet the controller. So it will go to the controller class. It will look for, is there any matching request for this endpoint, whatever I have given after the port number. And it will find, yes, there is a request mapping. So once it has identified the mapping, then it will check which function is it associated with it. So the function is RCB. What is RCB doing? Is returning welcome to RCB homepage. So when the user hits /Virat on the browser, he will get this message. He will get this message displayed on the browser. This will be the response of my API. So when someone tries to hit /Virat, my application will respond with welcome to RCB fan page. Okay, like this, I can make many request mappings. So let's say I make one more request mapping. Now I want you all to answer this, okay? What will happen and how do I access it? I want someone to, I would want you all to participate, guys, whether verbal or written, whatever as per, so whatever is convenient. So if you are in a place where there's some disturbance in the background, you can chat. And if you're sitting in a room, in a peaceful environment, then you can also do verbal communication. So, okay. Now here they will not be void, okay? They will not be void. So be aware, okay, as it is a dummy code, so you should remember that when you, what are we returning? This is a string, right? So this function is returning me a string. So this is, so when we will type the code, we know the error as I'm typing in the paint. So this function will return me a string. And what is that string? That string is welcome to RCB fan page. This also will return me a string. And let's say we map it to the CSK function. And now if I try to hit this, and this will return welcome to CSK fan page. So now who will tell me how will I access this welcome to CSK fan page? What I need to do to access it? You can unmute yourself for a few seconds, give the answer, and again put it on mute back. Should not be a problem. Yes, anyone? Yes, absolutely. If you can, just change your, what do you call, name. You have an option of renaming. So I can address you by your name. So now it is showing me 91762. A number is being shown. So the answer is absolutely correct. Yes, Abhishek, absolutely correct. So if I want to access that, localhost :8089/Dhoni. Perfect. Absolutely. So if you all want, I'll make this dummy endpoint and show it to you all. So we'll do some practical, yeah. So for that, I have to make a controller. So right click, and I will say new, and I'll make a class. So let's say customer controller, okay. So the thumb rule is, whatever entity you have made, all of these three classes prefix the entity name followed by the package name. So what is the entity we have made? Who will tell me? We have made an entity by what name? Customer, right? So whenever you're making your classes for controller, service, and repository, make class customer controller, class customer service, and this will be an interface. So customer repository, simple name, okay? So tell me, by what name will I make the controller now? What will be my class name of the controller? Customer, because that is the entity name, followed by the package name, both capital, customer controller. And in Spring Boot, we annotate the controller class with @controller. You annotate them with, okay. So we will use REST controller. So I will use REST controller. So if you do a control spacebar, see, I just wrote REST, then I'm using a shortcut, control spacebar. It will prompt me. So just write REST, and if you want the Eclipse to prompt you, just hit control spacebar and see which one do I use? REST control. So put this annotation. And now who will tell me what do I write? So first I will say @. So I just type REQ. I don't have to memorize everything. So I'm going to write request mapping, right? So I will just write REQ and give a control spacebar. See, it helps me. I take request mapping, and then after the port number, what string you want, give a double quote prefix with a slash. So I want the string to be Virat. So if someone, so how will we access Virat? To access this Virat endpoint, you have to go and type localhost : the port number / this whatever is over here. So port number, after the port number, whatever is over here, you have to type. So it will be mapped to a function. So let's say it is mapped to a function called RCB. And this RCB function will then return me a string, welcome to RCB fan page. Making sense? How will I make one for Dhoni? So just copy this. Now we can just copy paste it. and just change the mapping. Dhoni, change the function name and change the message. Okay. And if you do not give anything, if you just give a slash, this means root. This means if I don't give anything and just hit enter. If I don't give anything and just hit enter after this, then it will go to the root. So root is, let's say, I'll say welcome to IP. So now, okay, and this I'll map it to the IPL. So save it. Perfect. Now, once I made, now I'll stop my previous application. Clear the console, and now I'll start my current application. So always go to the class which has the main method. So you can go over here and right click and run, or directly you can right click on the class and run. But you have to run it from the main class. You cannot run the application from any other class. It is mandatory that you run the application from the main class. So go to the main class, either in the left window or in the right window, right click, run as Java application, and let's see how it starts up. So once it starts up and it shows me the message and the number of seconds it took to start up, means then my application is running. So please don't rush, wait for this message. See, it is telling on port number 8089, the application has started. It took this much seconds to start. Now if I want to run, I go to the browser. Okay, so now if I go to the browser, now if I want to access my application, I will just say 8089. And if I hit enter, now if I hit enter over here, what do you think should reflect on the screen? Who will tell me? What do you think will reflect on the screen if I hit enter over here? Yes, this will hit the root endpoint in the controller, and it will be tagged to the IPL method, and this code will be returned. Right? So let's try to confirm that whether it's working. And if I hit enter over here now, see, it says welcome to IPL. I wanted to check for RCB. I wanted to go to the RCB fan page. Now what do I need to do? So now I need to go and slash and give over here Virat. And see, I come to the response is welcome to the RCB fan page. If I want to go to Dhoni, I'll give endpoint as Dhoni. And I come to CSK fan page. Getting it? So far, so good. Anybody who's parallelly practicing with me? Okay. So now you all know what is the job of the controller. So whatever the client is sending a request, that will first come to, so there should be some mapping done by that request and the controller method, and that the code will come to the controller. Okay. So now we will make some sensible method. Okay. These are trial methods. Okay. Now I want one customer, let's say. So I will go and say, so to fetch the data, we call the get. Okay. So if I say get customer, so if I say get customer, so I want one customer record. So if I hit this, what will happen? Is there any mapping for get customer? Is there any mapping for get customer? Yes or no? No. So now your stereotype 404 will be thrown. What does 404 means in web development? No, it's very, very famous, right? You people are aware of that error message 404. When in web application, when do I see a 404? When there is no mapping available, or when that resource is not available. I'm looking for a particular page and that page is no more there on the internet. It was there yesterday, then it got deleted, or someone deleted that from the server, and now I'm trying to access it. So it will not return the page because the page is not there. So I will say it will give me a 404. So now if I try to hit this, so it will go in the controller and check, is there any mapping for get customer? Not there, not there, not there. So it will throw me a 404. Yeah, file. If you're accessing a file not found, And if we're accessing any endpoint, it will again show me C. Now see the message. Okay, so you should be confident in your interview while answering this. So it is saying not found. Whatever you're looking for is not found. So it returned with the status 404. So whenever you get 404, please go and check your controller whether you have given the correct mapping. So now, if I don't want to face that error, I will take a endpoint and I will make a mapping for that. So I'll copy the mapping from directly here. Okay. So I'll go to here, get customer, copy it, and then I will paste it over here that I have a mapping for get customer. And what I follow is whatever mapping I give the function name also the same. So I don't have to remember different names. So I give the same function. Okay. And now what is this going to give me? This is going to give me a customer. So I go and first make an object of customer. This is how we make object in Java for a customer. Okay, so we made object of customer. Now it is showing a red line because any class which is outside our package, we have to import that class. So is customer class a part of the controller package? No, right? So if a class is not a part of the package, you have to import that, and it's very easy to import. Just hit Control-Shift-O. Control-Shift-O, O for orange. Okay, O for orange. Control-Shift-O, and it will import it. So now see, I hit the Control button, I hit the Shift button, and I hit O. And now it imports it over here. See, has imported it from me. Okay, and now when this object has been made, so this is the object of which class? This object is of customer class. So what all attributes does the customer have? The customer has all these attributes. So now this is a basic object, empty object. So let me populate this object with some data. So this is an empty object at the moment. Okay, so now when I made this object is supposed to have all these values. It is supposed to have a customer ID, customer name, last name, email, phone, gender. But right now it is not having any value of this. So now I will populate this object with the correct values. So I'll use the setter methods. So I will say C1 dot set the customer ID. Let's say I say customer ID as 18. I do C1 dot set customer email. Okay. And I do C1 dot set first name. I do C1 dot set gender. Okay, I'm just doing on a first come first serve basis. I'm doing whatever I'm seeing. C1 dot set and C1 dot set. That also is a string, right? That also is a string. And now once you have the object populated, now what are we going to return? This object. So now I will say this endpoint will not return a string. It will return me an customer object, which is a customer object C1. So I will say return C1. Return C1. Here. Save it. Okay. Now I have done this changes. So I have to stop the server and rerun the server so the changes can take effect. So I stop the server, I clear the slate, and now rerun the server. How to rerun? Go to the main class, right click, run as Java application. Here we are making the endpoints. So once you have the server started, now we can go and test. So now see, now if I run this endpoint, now I have a mapping for it. See, it returned me that object. So these are what your backend does. Your backend merely just returns you the data. Now this data then the front end will take and it will display to you in this way, which I just showed you in a proper tabular way. So backend job is just to return the data. So we are making APIs, and Spring Boot is used to make APIs. So this is an API which I have made. So if anybody wants the customer's record, he can just tell /get customer and we will give the data. And this data now, if you are into mobile development, you can display this data using Android in an Android app. Or if you are into web development, you can take this data and display on the website. So backend's task is to send the data to the front end, and front end will take this data and then display to the customer. Okay, so if I wanted many customers, I wanted all customers, let's say. So I make one more endpoint over here. I make one more endpoint and I say get all customers. If someone tries to hit get all customers, so what we can do is, now we can make one customer and we can make multiple customers. Okay, so I make customer 1, customer 2, customer 3, and to 2 I set the details now. Okay, so now to the 2 I am setting the details. So now we can send the details. So now I have multiple customers, let's say. Okay. Now I have 3 customers, customer 1, customer 2, and customer 3. So now I'll form a list of those customers. So you can form a list of customer and call them as customers is new array list. So to show this array list, you add all the customers. Now this list is a class which is outside our package. So how to import it? Control-Shift-O. Control-Shift-O, and it will import. So take it from the util package. Take the list from the util package. You will import all the, and now once you have the customers, you do a add and you add all the customers to it. C1, C2, and C3. And then you return this customer. So now you are going to return list of customers. Now you will return this customer. So what is customer? Customer is list of customers. So now instead of saying over here customer, now you will say I will return a list of customers. Now this endpoint was not there when I ran it previously. So again, I have to stop it and run. So if you want to, make your server aware of all the changes, then you can add one dependency called as DevTools. For DevTools, no need to restart the server every time. So I'll help you with that dependency. So directly you can add that to your application. Okay, so let me check where I have maybe in my here, because I'll share it with everyone. So you all can also get it. Okay, I've shared with you all on the chat also, and this is the file. If you all want that, no need to start the server every time. So I hope my screen is visible to you all. You all can take this dependency and add it to your form.xml. Right click, copy, and go to your application, go to form.xml, and in the dependencies below, see here you have dependencies, one dependency, two dependency. Inside the dependencies, okay, just go and paste it and do a save. You will see at the bottom right, they're adding the dependencies. See over here. And whenever you add a new dependency, always try to project clean. So go to the project and do a project clean and choose your project. We are doing this batch CMS. Always remember, whenever you add any dependency, always do a project clean. And now I will just run the application, and now no need to rerun the application. Now whatever changes I will do later on, they all will be sensed by the DevTools. Now I will not stop this application now. Okay, this will be now this will keep on sensing all the changes. Okay, so now on the application I started, I open the browser, and now let me hit the endpoints. Okay, so you all will tell me what endpoint should I hit. I want to see welcome to RCB fan page. So what endpoint should I hit? You will tell me. Yes, /Virat. So here I will say, so if I don't give anything, welcome to IPL. If I say /Virat, welcome to RCB. Dhoni, CSK. If I say get customer, then single customer, that is Virat. And if I say what was the endpoint, so you can just copy the endpoint. No, don't need to type it, because if you make a mistake in the case, endpoints are case sensitive. So you have to be very clear. So get all customers. I copy from here and I paste it over here, and it will give me a list of, see, now these are all my customers. So this is what your backend will return and to the front end, and then we can run our application. So whenever you see the data on your website, so if you are seeing Amazon, so this, whatever is being shown on the front end, these product names and all this comes in from the backend in the form of search response. It comes from the backend in the form of search response, and then we can show it to the client. See, we have many ready-made APIs. I will show you. So there is one fake store API. See, I have it over here, so it is showing me. You all can just say, just search for fake store API. See, fake store API, and go to this fake store API and scroll below. So now see, now if you go and hit this HTTPS fake store API products, so it will just give you a list of products. See, the endpoints, the /product endpoint, you're giving you all the products. There are 20 products, having a product ID, product title. How we are having same to same. The way we are having customer ID, first name, last name, email, phone, same it is returning like this. This data is then now taken by the client, and the client, see, these are actual images, okay? So if you take any image from here, let's say take this image, and if you go and hit it, you will get the exact, so this, you will get the exact image. See, this is the image. This is the actual data. So we just take this. So if I take this image, and if I go and hit it from the browser, it will give me an actual image. So these are actual images. So our job is to, from the back end, just create the APIs and give it to the front-end team. So front-end team will make the API. So now, if I want to display all the products, I will hit this API. Which one? /products. Okay. I have all the products. And if I want only any particular product, let's say I want this 4 men's casual slim fit. So I will come over here in the endpoint. I can add 4 also. So it will give me that single product only. So this we can use for filtering. Okay, so we should. So I'll show you an application which we had made. We had consumed these APIs. Okay, we had consumed these APIs and see. So maybe I'll show you. This is my React project we had made. So we are just consumed these APIs. So let me stop this. Okay, and go one step back and go to project 9. Okay, and now see. And now if I run this project, npm run dev. So whatever data has been thrown by these APIs, whatever data is coming in these APIs, we take that data. So if I see whatever data is coming on this API, we take it and then we display that data over here. All that data we are displaying over here. This is the job of the front end team. See, there are 20 products. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, 18, and 20. Same to same. What was product number 4? If you all remember, men's casual slim fit. So as Java Spring Boot, our job is to return the data in the form of this JSON data. Then the front end team will take this data, and the front end team's job is to do the presentation part. So here we can then do the filtering based on the category. So every product has a category. So if you observe over here, we have a category: men's clothing, okay, men's clothing, the men's clothing, jewelry, electronics. So all that have been filtered over here. And if you select anything over here, electronics, that will be shown to you. So this is how you make the front end and the back end. You are not able to see my screen, guys? Yeah, so what the backend APIs do is they just send the data in the form of, they just send the data. Then we take this data and then the front end team reflects that data to the client like this. So this raw data is the response of Spring Boot. And then this raw data is taken by the front end team, which works on React or Angular or any of the JS framework. And then they display it over like this. So this application which I had made, if you see, I had hit the same fake store API data. So if I open this application, are you able to see my VS Code screen? Yeah, I'll show you all. So in the SRC, if you all see, I have queried where, see, I have queried which endpoint? Fake store API product. So if I take this, and if I copy this, and if I hit it over here on the browser, this will just give me the raw data like this. And then using React, we have to process this data and try to show it to the user like this. So then we have to show to the user in the front end like this. So this is all your HTML, CSS. So now we are in the phase of our life cycle wherein we are making endpoints which I hit any endpoint will give me the data. Then that data I will give to the front end team, and the front end team will display it. Getting it? What we are trying to achieve, guys? So you just need to know the endpoint which you have to hit. So once you know what endpoint will return what response, then in the front end we are very comfortable. So this is all hard coded data which I am creating. Okay. So now let's say if now we are of this life cycle, we have completed 2 packages. Okay, so now you are comfortable with the 2 packages. What the entity package does, what the controller does. So I'll put a tick over here also, small tick. You are aware of these packages, what we are doing. Now, if I need to send anything to the database, if the front end sends the data to the controller, then controller directly cannot save in the database. So now there is a hierarchy which we have to follow. So there is a pattern. So controller will give that data to the service. Service will give that to the repository, and repository will insert that data. Same while fetching the data. Repository will fetch the data, and then repository will give it to the service. Service will then give it to the controller, and controller will then give it to the client. So this is the flow we have to maintain. So now let's create the second layer in between. After controller, we have service. So let's create a service class. So who will tell me the name of the service class? Can I make by any name? Apple service, XYZ service, or should I give a name? I had given you all the standard naming convention. What is the name of the entity? Customer. What is the name of this package when I'm making this? Am I making it in security? No, I should have made it in service. I come back over here. Which package am I making this? In the service package. So I'll make a class for which, what is the name of the entity? Customer. In which package I'm making this? Service. So I'll call it as customer service. So I made a class by the name customer service, and not this with @service. And not this with @service. Red line means you have to import it, Control-Shift-O, and it will be imported. And now service will interact with whom? Service will interact with the repository. So repository is an interface. So create that also. So in the repository package, right click, new, and make an interface. What is the name of the entity? Customer. In which package am I? Repository. So capital R, repository. Make it. And now interface, just say extends JPA repository. If you don't know the exact name, just type JP and give a control space. JPA repository here. Now this T is the name of the entity class. What is it? Customer. So you can just come here and copy it. Instead of typing, you can copy the name so that there is no confusion later on. There is no spelling mistake. And this ID is the type of primary key. So in the JPA repository, in the customer, this is the, what is the type of the first column? Integer. Okay, so give that as the integer. Now customer, we are into a different package. This is a different package. So Control-Shift-O and import. Okay. Now one thing, annotate this also with @repository. So annotate it with each package. Okay. So the repository, whatever will come the repository package will have @repository. Whatever will come in the service package will have @service. Whatever will come in the controller package will have REST controller. Similarly, whatever will come in the entity package will have at entity. So the database, a table will be created for this at entity. And whenever you are making an entity, that means a table will be created by this name in the database. So you should give a primary key to that table so that you should have one column as your ID attribute. So say at ID, and now my customer ID is my primary key. Okay. Right. And if you want to auto increment it, you can say generated value, so that it will auto increment the value, and say strategy equals to generation type dot identity. So I'll share this code with you all, don't worry. You can just look at it, and so these are small things which you have to keep in mind. So now we have created populated all our packages. So now our entity package also has been populated. Okay, controller also has been populated, and repository also, and my service also. Oh, so far so good. So now, okay. Okay. So this much, now we have created the architecture of the skeleton of our application. So now let me go and create some endpoints which will store the data. So now what happens is, whatever entity we have made, a table gets made in the database with that entity. So now in our database, the table would have been made by which column? By what name? Whatever is the name of the entity, by the name of that entity, a table is made in the database. So in our case, what is our entity? Our entity is customer. So if you go to the database, what is our database name? So you can open up your resources. In that, check the application properties, and you will see the database name as project CMS DB. So let's go and check this database. Okay. Project CMS DB. Here. And let's check if any table has been made. See, one table has been made over here. See, by the name customer, and that table has all these columns: CID, email, first name, gender, last name. So Spring does the database creation, the table creation for us. So we don't have to write any SQL command to create the table. So just make a class and annotate that class with at entity. So whichever class is having at entity, then a table will be made by that class, and the columns will be the attributes of that class. But it is compulsory that if you're writing a at entity, then compulsory you have to make one column with at ID, and that becomes the primary key. So now if I want to insert any record into the table, so now I will make a endpoint add customer. Okay, so now I'll come over here and I will say @request mapping, and I will say /add custom. It will map to a function. Okay, I will return a string after adding, and I will take the same function name as add custom. Okay, so now what we do is, now we are in the controller. So to apply the business logic, so apply all the logic, we pass that to all the business logic is taken care by the service layer. So service layer's job is to handle the business decisions. Okay. All the business related logic, business logic is in the service layer. And all the database interaction is in the what is database connectivity is there in the repository. So now whenever someone tries to add a customer, they will invoke which endpoint? Add customer, and it will be mapped to this method. So what we can do is now take a customer and now pass on this customer to the service layer. I want to store it into the database. So now from the controller, I will pass it to the service, and the service will pass it to the repository. So if one class needs to interact with another class, so now here the controller class has to interact with the service class. So to call a function of a class, you need an object of that class. So here in the controller, I will need an object of the customer service. So I need an object of customer service. So in the customer controller, I will need an object of customer service. So I'll make an object called customer service. And just directly to make the object, we can use auto wired. In Spring Boot, directly you can use auto wired and you will get the object. And as this is in a different package imported by Control-Shift-O. And now using this customer service, we can call method of the service. So we can say, I am passing this, and you can use the same function name. You can use the same function name and pass this object to the customer service admin. It will add the data for you, and then after that you can just return customer added successfully. You can just return that. Now this method is not there in the class, so hover the key, just hover the mouse on this function, hit the control key. This mouse icon, which is of a beam shape, will turn into a hyperlink. So I take the mouse over there. Now click on hit the control key. Yeah, just give me 2 minutes. I'll be back. Yeah, so now this function is not there in the service. Over the mouse, hit the control button, this turns into a hyperlink. Okay. And you can just create that. So once you just hover it over there, just hover the mouse, and it will ask you to create that method, create it. So now I have this method over here. Now the customer service will interact with the repository. So here I need the object of the repository over here. So I say customer repository, and I can say customer repo. And of this customer repo, we can call the save function to save the record to the database. That's the entire life cycle. So you can are you able to see my screen? Yes, guys. So this is the entire flow. One second, I'll be back. Okay, so this is the, am I audible to you guys? So this is the entire end-to-end flow of how. So I'll just push this to the Git now. Okay, first let me just test it for you guys whether it's the record is being inserted or not. Okay, so now let me just hit and test this whether if I try to hit this endpoint of add customer, does it add this record to the database? And if it returns with this string means record has been added. Okay, so let me now hit this. Now I've come to this, and now let me try to hit which is the endpoint. The endpoint is add customer. The endpoint is add customer. Okay, it is showing an explicit error of 500. 8089 add customer is not working. Now why is it not working? Let's check. Let's check why is it not working. So it says, okay, so read the logs and check. Read the log and check why is it not working. It says, just see the first error message completely. The answer should be in the first error message. It says add customer unknown source null pointer exception. Where is it throwing null pointer exception? Just have to read the error messages. There's no error messages. I don't have any error over here. Okay, let's come back and now check the code. So I call the add customer. I made an object of the customer. I pass it to the add customer. And okay, I did not auto wire this. I did not auto wire this. So whenever you want an object in Spring, you have to auto wire. You have to auto wire. Save it. So as we had done DevTools, see the server automatically restarted. And now if I go and hit the add customer endpoint, okay, it's showing me the same message again. And why is it did not execute this time? Let's check. Because field CID does not have a default value. Okay, so the CID field is in the customer. It is I've given strategy as identity, no? So if it is an identity column, then you cannot, if you wish, you can skip the value if you want. You can skip because it will auto increment that value for us. Okay. Now, but if I give a value, it should not be a problem. If I give a value, still it should not be a problem, even though if we are using auto increment also. Now let me go and hit the endpoint and check add customer. Still is doing the same thing. It still is doing the same thing. So the customer we have given generated value and strategy we have given as identity. And so this will take the customer record. This will take the value from itself. You don't have to pass any value. So if I go over here, the customer ID. Yes. So the primary key. There is a primary key attribute for customer ID. Yes. And it has been given auto increment also. Okay, so let me remove. Let me remove the generated value from here. Let me remove the generated value. And now we will go and the controller now have to give the now we have to pass the customer ID, which we have passed, yes. And then we pass this to the add customer. Add customer object take the C1 and then the customer repository. We save this object. Yes. Everything looks good to me. I'll save it and maybe I'll restart the application once. Just make sure it works fine. When I started, I go and hit the add customer. We create the object. We pass it to the add customer, the customer service. Yeah, everything looks good to me. Let's try to hit the add customer. Let's try to hit the root first. Root is returning the response. And now if I say add, what was that endpoint? Which we made / add customer. So now if I hit the add customer, it says customer added successfully, and that record should now reflect in my database. In my database, so if I just refresh this data, that record is reflecting over here. So now what I'll do is I'll push this code to GitHub. And now I want someone from you all to parallelly do it the code till here. So I don't get status. I don't get dot add dot. And then I don't get status again. And I don't get add dot. And then I don't get push. So I had shared the repository with you all yesterday. I had shared the repository link with you all yesterday. It's the same repository. You all can refresh that. And okay, so I'll just share it again today. So is Sanjay there? Maybe he can now share his screen and quote till here whatever I have done. Anybody else wants to volunteer, but I expect they have the required softwares. Sanjay, you there? Yes, am I audible? Anybody else who's there wants to do it, the project till here? Okay, Sanjay, you can share your screen then. So let's try to do this much code on your machine. So yesterday we had done the trial. So today we'll make the RESTful APIs, the trials one also, and the proper application ones also. So can you make the, okay, you already work parallel programming with me. Perfect. That's good. So is the Virat and Dhoni endpoints working? Can you show us? No, you don't use equal to when you're using setters. You don't use equal to when we use setters. Remove the equal to. Okay, what you can do is, Sanjay, copy this entire code onto a notepad. This entire class. Sanjay, what you can do is you can do a control O, yeah, control A, copy this code into a notepad file, separate. Yeah, notepad plus plus. Yeah, paste this code over there so that you have the backup. Open a plus, yeah. And now go to your code, actual code. And now let's start from the scratch and let's make all the endpoints again. Can you maximize your screen? Yeah. So go up, scroll up. And from line number 11 onwards. Yeah, line number 11 onwards. Yeah, come down. You added the mapping also inside the entity. That's incorrect. Yeah, remove line number 11 onwards, everything. 11 onwards till the end, remove everything. We'll do it again from scratch. Yeah, except line number 50. Now give the closing brackets. Yeah, perfect. Now save this. Yes. Now go to your controller first. Always start with the controller. Yeah, expand the controller. Yes. Now you have made a customer control, right? And annotated REST controller at the moment. Annotated REST controller. So at line number 5. At line number 5, use REST. Remove the line number 5. And write over there at the rate. And write REST. No, give a control space bar. It will prompt you. As you write REST, give a control space bar. Yes. Now in this, I want you to do a control shift O. Now come inside the class and now make an endpoint request mapping for Virat. Small. Control space bar. Yes. And now come outside, hit enter. Now make a method, public string, whatever name you want to give to the method. I normally give the same name as the mapping. This is what I follow. And now say return, welcome to RCB fan page. Yes, perfect. Now do a save. Now see your application. No, just let's try test this. Okay, you can make one. Just copy paste this. No, copy line number 8 till the end. Yes, copy this, paste it, and make one for Dhoni. And make one for IPL also. And change the function name to Dhoni also. So I hope everyone else, others also are doing parallelly with Sanjay. And if you're having any difficulties, you all can share on the chat. Give this as home. Give this as home. Yeah. And make it IPL. See, now you should not have any red dots on your application. So towards the left window, I see customer security having a problem. So open that file. Yeah, there is no security annotation. Remove it. Okay, now save. Okay, perfect. Now run your application. So always run from the main. Yes. There is a problem. Let's check. Scroll up, scroll up, scroll up. Your Okay, as you have added DevTools, whenever you add any dependency, always do a project clean, as I mentioned. So go to project and do a clean. No, on the top. On the top, you see the project menu. Yes, the project menu. On the top menu bar. Search project, yeah, do a clean. And select your project. Yeah, it's selected. Yeah, do a clean. And now run the code. So whenever you add any dependencies, after that, always try to clean your project. Okay, let's expand this. Let's check what is the issue. If the issue is error creating bean, okay, right click, go towards the right. No, this error message. Go towards the right and see. Scroll towards the right of the error message. Scroll with the progress bar. Yes, yeah. Keep scrolling. Keep scrolling. Yes, keep scrolling. Okay, as you have made the go to the repository. Yeah, this is not a class. This is an interface. So make public interface. Yeah, and then say extends. No. Yeah, because it has a lot of abstract methods. It has abstract method, that's why. So write public interface customer repository. After customer repository, write extends. Okay, as of now, you can just comment this. As of now, we don't need this. So just comment line number 5 to 8, comment it. Select line number 5 to 8. No, select them together. No. Control Z. Yeah, select, just drag and select 5 to 8 and give control/. Save. And can I see your service also? Okay, no need. Let it be. Now run the application. What happened? You're importing that. Okay, just keep the controller, and apart from the controller, delete all your classes. Delete the customer class. Delete it. The below. In the entity. No, not this. Below in the entity. Yeah, right click over here. Delete. Up. Below. Yeah, delete it. Select the customer repository, delete it. Select security, delete it. Yeah. So when we'll make it later on. Okay. Now go to your customer controller. Now do a save. Now run the project. Now run from main. No. Click anywhere on the main and run it. Okay, started. Now go and hit the endpoints. Try to hit the endpoints now. The endpoint which you made in the controller. Yeah. Now open a browser. Localhost :8089. localhost 8089. Colon 8089. Hit enter. See, it's giving you IPL. Slash Virat. Perfect. Dhoni. So far, so good. Perfect. Now let's go and make the application better. Now go to the application. Now go to your entity class and make a class customer. Enter. And now copy all the attributes which I have written. So I have posted the data to GitHub. You can take from the GitHub. So no need to write the code. The code is there on GitHub. Just copy it from there. So go to github.com first. Go to github.com. Over there, go and slash here. Go to SRC. Go to main. Go to project batch CMS. Go to entity. Expand this here. So now you can copy the code from line number 12 to 17. And paste it. Okay. This is your entity class. So annotate it with at entity. And at line number 2, before the class name, give at entity. Control space bar. Take entity from persistence. Yes. So if you are making a if you are making an entity, you have to give a primary key column. So which is a primary key column over here? Yeah. So annotate this with at ID. So at the end of line number 6, hit enter and say at ID. Capital I. Control space bar. ID from persistence. No, second one. No. Do a control Z. Yeah, control space bar again. Take from persistence. Yes. Now go at the end of line number 14 and right click and make the constructor. Enter. Enter over there. Yeah, right click. Source. Generate constructor using fields. Generate. Copy this again from public till the last one and paste it. Now empty both the brackets, the round and the curly. Enter, right click source. Not over there, outside the constructor. Generate setter getters. Select all. Perfect. Entity class is done. Very good. Now let's go to the constructor, the controller. Now make an endpoint for add customer. Now make an object over here of the class. You can copy the code of object creation. Okay, take it. No, do it manually. Okay. Now set all the, now as it is in a different package, import, control shift one, import it. And now set all the values to it. So C1 dot C dot. And now call setter SET. Yeah, now set one thing. Yeah, now in the round bracket pass the customer ID. Semicolon. Set all, yes. It's a string, double quotes. Email, it's @gmail.com. Semicolon. Go back till set. Don't type, just select. Yeah. Remove, go to the dot. Type till the dot. SET. Double quote, it's a string. Semicolon. Okay, all set, everything has been set now. Phone. Double quote, it's a string we have given, no? You can give the entire 10 digits. Yes. And now we will pass this object to the service layer, right? So we need the service level object over here. So now go and make the service class. Very good. And not with add service. So yes, now go to the Sanjay, yeah, go to the application. Now go to the controller, and now we'll create an object of this class over here. So go to the start, go to the end of line number 9. Yes, hit enter over here now, and make an object of the customer service over here. Hit enter again. So make customer service. Control space bar. It will help you out. Customer service. Fourth one. No. Control Z. Customer. No. Go at the end of the customer. Go at the end of the R. Now control space bar. And now customer service. Fourth one. And now make an object of it. Whatever object you want to give. So give the same name with a small c. Give a better name that you can. So give the same name, but just make the c as small. So customer service with a small c. You can remove one extra c from the start. And now to make the object, give a semicolon. And now just type auto wire above it. Line number 11, type auto wired. At the rate. It's an annotation. At the rate, capital A, AUTO, control space bar, auto wired, second one. Very good. And now take that object of blue color object, customer service, copy that, and come inside the add service method. Come inside the method here, come down below in the add, no. In the controller itself. Yeah, at line number 41, hit enter. And say add service, paste it. No, copy, just what you copy, just paste it over here. And dot. And copy the function name, on line number 33. Add customer. Just function name here. So we are making a function name by the add customer in the service also. And now as a parameter pass C. And give semicolon. And below write return customer added successfully. Double quotes. Now is this method there in the service class add customer? So hover your mouse on the add customer red line, yes. And you say create. Choose the create option. Hover once again. Yeah, and choose the create option. Yeah. So now we are in the service, and service interacts with the repository. So now go and make customer repository also. In the repository package, right click, new interface now. Yeah, interface. Yes. You seem to have stuck up. Yeah. Customer repository. And now write extends JPA repository. Just type capital JPA, capital J, small pa, R, control space bar. Yeah, take this one. And instead of T, write the entity class name. And instead of ID, write integer, the capital I. And annotate this, the control shift O to import the customer. Control shift O and import the customer. Yes, and now annotate at add repository, line number 6, right? Add repository. Control space bar. Very good. Now go to the customer service Now service interacts with the repository, right? So make an object of repository over here. Line number 8, hit enter. And say customer repository and small c customer repository. And auto wire. Semicolon. And auto wire it. Small w. Yeah. Do a control shift O and import the repository also. It's a different package, you know. Yes. And now in line number 15, remove line number 15 and take the object of customer repository, the blue color object. Control space bar. It will prompt you. Don't type everything. Just control. You can, yeah. Dot save. And pass the object as argument C. And give a semicolon. Perfect. Now do a save. Save all. Yes. Now try to run now try to hit the application. Now go and hit the endpoint. What is the endpoint name you have given? Go to the custom controller and check the endpoint you have given. So now first go to your database and check whether a table has been made or not. Open your MySQL, which we did yesterday, MySQL workbench. Yeah, open it. Click on the local instance. Yes. Say use project DB. Execute this statement. Yeah. Okay, very good. Now, after that, hit enter and write show tables and execute this command. And let's see if it is able to show you. See, one table has been made by the name customer. You see? So table has been made. Now let's try to insert the data into this table. So now to insert data, we have to call the endpoint, correct? So run the application is running. Go and try to hit the endpoint now. So what is the endpoint? Enter. See, it says customer added successfully. Now go to the database and let's see if that record is showing over here. So hit after line number 4, hit enter and say select star from customer. Space. Give a space after select star. Select and space after select. And semicolon after customer. And select that query and hit. And that record is reflecting over here. Got it? So like this, we can create endpoints and that data should reflect in our application. So see guys, one of your students is able to hit the endpoint and the record is reflecting over here. Okay, now go to the application. Go to Eclipse. And now change the details of this. Line number 37, 38, 39, 40, 40, 42. Give another person the record. Change the customer ID also. Change the ID also. And go and check in the database whether now same query, execute the same query, yes. Okay, now you have 2 records. Correct? Are you understanding, guys? The attendance link has been shared. You all can mark your attendance also meanwhile. Anybody else who's doing it with us and needs any assistance? Yes. Are you able to understand the flow, Sanjay? Perfect. So you can stop sharing now. Okay, so I have pushed the code on GitHub. You all can also practice over there. The same code which I did with Sanjay over here. Anybody else who's doing the code with us and wants assistance can share their screen. You can stop sharing, Sanjay. Yes, anyone else? Guys, any concerns, queries you'll have? So today I had just done the first part of CRUD. We're just doing a create today. So today I just did the create a record. Tomorrow I will show you how to read, update and delete. So we can form all the CRUD operations. Okay, so we can form all the CRUD operations tomorrow. If anybody has any queries, concerns, can highlight it either on chat or on verbal, and we can sort that out. If anybody is doing parallel programming with us, can share their screen. Attendance link. Okay, I'll ask ma'am to send it again. Sushmita, can you refresh the attendance?
Yeah, sure, sir. I'm sending that.
Copy it on this. Yes, Meera Ben has raised a hand. You have any concerns, miss? Okay, then if you are not having any doubts, any concerns, we can wind up for today. For digital marketing doubts, Anthony, you can communicate to Sushmita and maybe she can help you out. Yeah, and follows practice the coding. That's why I'm telling you, if you all can share your screen in front of me and do it like how Sanjay is doing, you all also will be up to date with me with the class. So I'm sharing the code on a daily basis. So you all can practice that also after the session and bring your doubts in the session. Okay, then. Okay, Sushmita, then I'll jump off for today.
Yes, sir. You can.
Oh.
Thank you so much. Yes, students, I'm sharing attendance link again. Kindly mark your attendance. If you're done with the attendance, then you can drop the session. Again, we'll meet tomorrow at 7 p.m. I'm sharing the attendance again.